Maybe there's somebody you've lost and they left this earth a little bit too soon, a lot too soon. And you're living on behalf of you both. I would just encourage you to figure it out, to hold it deep in your heart, and to have that be the North Star guiding your way. What's up, my friend, and welcome to Grit, Grace, and Inspiration. I am your host, Kevin Lowe. 20 years ago, I awoke from a life-saving surgery only to find that I was left completely blind. And since that day, I've learned a lot about life, a lot about living, and a lot about myself. And here on this podcast, I want to share those insights with you. Because, friend, if you are still searching for your purpose, still trying to understand why, or still left searching for that next right path to take, well, consider this to be your stepping stone to get you from where you are to where you want to be. What's up, my friend, and welcome back to the podcast. You are tuning in to what is episode number 232 of Grit, Grace, and Inspiration. Last week, I got to share with you the deeply personal story of what happened to me 20 years ago. I celebrated my 20th anniversary of the day my life was saved with the removal of a brain tumor, but also tragically marked the anniversary of the day that I became blind. But there's another aspect to that story that I didn't share. And I don't get to share very much because, well, to be honest, it's not really my story. It's someone else's. And yet, our stories intertwine together. And that is what today is all about. Today is about me sharing with you another piece of that story. I got such amazing feedback after last week, after sharing my story on the podcast. That happened through the newsletter that I send out. If you are not already receiving my weekly newsletter sent out every Wednesday morning, I would love to invite you to sign up, where we can have a two-way conversation. It's an open invitation for you to have a conversation with me. Head on over to gritgraceinspiration.com/insider. That is gritgraceinspiration.com/insider if you would like to sign up. So that other part of my story, this person that I'm speaking of, they are who inspired today. But there's another aspect that inspired today's topic, and that was Deanna Russo. If you listened to our previous episode, that was my interview with Deanna, where we got to hear about her story and how she has been on a mission to keep the memory of her sister alive. A beautiful, beautiful mission indeed. And it was through her interview that made me realize that right now is my opportunity to share the story of the best friend I've not yet met, the story of John. Sometimes in life, the people we fight for, the causes we are propelled forward because of, are things that, well, we've not even had experience with. A cause, maybe it's a cause that hasn't affected you, but it affected somebody you love, so therefore you're fighting for it. Or maybe it's someone that you've never met, but you've heard stories of. It's their memory that you live for. That is what introduces today's story. See, back 20 years ago, when I was in the hospital for my brain surgery, to have that brain tumor removed, the same story that I told many times before on this podcast, the story that I went into depth in last week's episode. In that hospital at that time, I wasn't the only boy there going through this very thing. As rare as this type of brain tumor was, there was another boy there with the same exact brain tumor. His name was John. Not only did me and John have the same brain tumor, we were the same age. They even said that we looked similar. And by talking to his mom, would find out that we actually shared very many similarities way too many similarities, making it almost crazy. The only difference between me and John's story is the fact that John didn't get to come home from that hospital. John's mom didn't get to have him come home. John didn't get to continue on with life. When I came home from the hospital, John continued to stay there. Things weren't going right for him. So many complications, so many different aspects that weren't working out, that weren't happening as they were supposed to. And my mom would keep in touch with his mom. And lo and behold, just a couple of weeks after I left, right at the time of Thanksgiving, John would pass away. John's mom would lose him. My mom got to keep me. I got to come home. And that is why every year at the time of my anniversary, when all the feelings come flooding back, the ideas of what was supposed to have been, the dream of what my life would have been, all of that comes flooding back. There's also the memory of John, a guy, a kid who I never met, yet I've heard the story of. And I can't help but think that me and John, if we had had the chance to meet, we would have been best friends. And I can't help but feel guilty in a way. Like, why did God choose me? Why was I the one who got to come home from that stay in the hospital? Why did John's mom have to lose him? Why did my mom get to keep me? And I've thought about this question many a times. Now, I won't say that it has consumed me. I won't pretend that it has overwhelmed me. It has impacted my life. No, it hasn't. But that doesn't mean that the thought isn't still there from time to time. Now, here's the powerful part of it, is that even though I've never met him, even though I've only spoken with his mom a couple of times, I felt this internal responsibility to live when he didn't get to. Because I'll tell you that the life I live, it's not always easy. There's been many complications. There's been many ups and downs with the issues that I have to deal with. But I'm here. I got a second chance when he didn't. And I will tell you that there's been times when I've said to myself, you know what, Kevin? Even though you feel like you can't, even though you're tired of fighting, you got another person on your back because you're living this life not just for you. You're living this life for John, for your best friend that you've not yet met. And I say not yet met because, well, I'm a Christian. And I know that one day I will go home to heaven and I'll finally get to meet John. I'll get to meet the best friend that I've not yet met. This boy who me and him were so similar. I'll get to meet him someday. But until that day comes, I've got life to live for me and for him. So I want to turn this around and I want to ask you, who are you living for? What are you fighting for? What cause, person, theme, whatever you want to call it, what are you living for? What is your reason for living, for thriving? Because life isn't easy for any of us. I'm not the only one who's had a hard time in life. No, this life is so difficult. And it seems like with every day that passes, it gets more and more difficult. It's the reason why we all reflect back on the good old days and wish it could be like it was when we were kids. Because life continues to get more and more difficult the older we get, the longer time goes by. And so if we want to stand a chance at thriving in this crazy thing they call life, you got to have a bigger reason why. Why are you doing what you do? What is it that pushes you forward? If you don't know it, then baby, it is time for you to find it. It is time for you to get real with yourself on what in the world you are fighting for. And on behalf of who are you fighting? And remember this, the reason why, it doesn't have to be enormous. It doesn't have to be worthy of posting on social media about. It just has to be meaningful to you and to you alone. No one else even has to know about it. This is just for you to have in your back pocket. When the days are long and you just feel like you can't do it anymore, remember who or what you are fighting for. I always think examples help, because maybe you're thinking to yourself, wow, I don't know, Kevin. I don't know who or what I'm fighting for. Well, think of these examples as help. Maybe you are living for your kids because you want to show them that anything is possible. You want to give them hope by being an example for them to look up to. Maybe you're living for a cause that's close to your heart, working and fighting every day to make this world a little bit better place for us all to be in. Or maybe your situation is like what I've talked about. Maybe you've lost somebody, like Deanna Russo who lost her sister, like my situation talking about John. Maybe there's somebody you've lost and they left this earth a little bit too soon, a lot too soon. And you're living on behalf of you both. I would just encourage you to figure it out, to hold it deep in your heart, and to have that be the North Star guiding your way. Today's episode, it's shorter than most. It was just one thing that was weighing heavy on my heart, to share this story, that in some way it may be a help to you. All right, my friend, I want to end by just thanking you for being here. I want to thank you for being a part of this journey, for being a part of this podcast, for being with me on the long episodes and the short ones, and for just being the awesome people that you are. Please be sure to join that mailing list so you can get on the insider list. Of course, head on over to gritgraceinspiration.com/insider. That is gritgraceinspiration.com/insider to sign up today for my weekly newsletter, arriving in your inbox each and every Wednesday morning. With that said, my friend, get out there and enjoy this life. It's way too short. Our time is so limited. It's up to us to just make it count. So be sure you tell the people you love that you love them. Be sure you smile more than you frown. Be sure you laugh out loud as much as you possibly can. I want this podcast to be a place that reminds you that no matter what you're going through, that this life, it's worth living. I'll see you inside of next week's episode.